Welcome back to the Sweet Spot with DeAnda. I'm DeAnda. I am excited, and let me tell you why. I have been, I would say, in the last, I don't know, 6 months, I want to say, I've been kind of in this worry mode or stress mode about my health and how to do better, be better, feel better, all the things. You've heard me, kind of talk about on past episodes about, having aches and, being in the bed and your leg is hurting or your knee is hurting. I'm just over that. Like, what is that about? And I, went to the doctor and, and I want to say, in the last 6 months, it's been kind of this finding out, what's going on and trying to, kind of get some balance there. And I'm sure some of you can relate to this in terms of, you know, you're in bed and you have aches and you're like, why is my leg hurting or why is my knee hurting and I'm not walking, I'm not running or whatever. I'm, just laying here. Or, just headaches from out of nowhere and you can't really pinpoint why. It's, you've done all your little kind of checks and balances of what that is and why that is. And I've, gone to the doctor and also, spoken to my doctors about, things and, where I am with that. And that's a whole nother open show. And I'm not going to get too deep into that. But some of the things that I've been doing in the last 6 months to help aid in figuring those things out and turning some things around. And one being, I did a 21-day Whole Foods challenge, which going into it, I was, like, oh, okay, this will just be me kind of revamping my intake, my food intake, and what I'm eating, and kind of really documenting what that is and being more mindful of what that is. And I want to, pause and say the whole mindful piece plays a huge part in my journey. And the goal for doing this is to have better health and to not have all these aches, right? And to back out of pre-diabetes diagnosis and high blood pressure diagnosis when you're eating fruits and vegetables, and you're still, in that, stage, so just kind of moving, trying to figure out what, those things are. And like I said, I, started a Whole Foods challenge with a couple of friends of mine. And going into it, I was already, the best way to describe this is kind of quasi vegan, in that I wasn't eating a lot of, chicken and eggs and that kind of thing. So I was eating them, but I wasn't eating them, I guess, regularly, right? And going into the 21-day challenge, I only had eggs, and I only had eggs twice during the 21 days. And the reason for 21 days versus 30 days, because I did actually get, kind of pushback on, oh, it's not going to work. Actually somebody said, oh, it's not going to work for 21 days, which for the most part, I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that. The reason why I chose 21 days was we started on November 1st. And so we were coming into the month of Thanksgiving, and I didn't want any, kind of hesitation of being able to enjoy Thanksgiving the way I want to enjoy Thanksgiving. Um, so we did 21 days. And one of the things that came out of it and it was three of us that came out of it, and that none of us knew would, and this was our first time doing this, was the emotional piece, and not, really tying in to our journey, how to be a little bit more mindful, how to be a little bit more thoughtful to ourselves, and each other, and the world at large, because it's a kind of a like a community thing, right? And the other thing is, just kind of figuring out that food doesn't have to be like your every thought, because it was like in the beginning. It's like I felt like all I was thinking about was, what am I going to eat next, or what can I eat next, and when am I going to eat, and all that kind of stuff. So when I removed some of that kind of, Virgo kind of trying to control everything type of angst, it got a little bit better. I will say the first, 5 days into the Whole Foods 21-day Whole Foods challenge was rough. And I did not expect that. I was like, I know how to, cook, and I was enjoying the, gathering recipes and that kind of thing, and cooking for myself, and, sharing, the pictures and foods and stuff that I was eating, which I will, share some of those with you all as well. But I did not realize that there was going to be an emotional piece tied to it. I mean, there was one day where I was on the verge of tears the entire day. It was just like, I didn't know what was going on. Like, I'm so emotional. And one of the other participants was like, well, actually, both of them were like the same way. It's like, yeah, I'm feeling that too. Then it was also then like, just angry and just, irritable, right? So there was that too. Um, and I want to say, like, in the middle, or yeah, towards the middle of it, I participated in a rest session with Octavia Rahim through Exodus Summit. And during that session, she introduced quite a bit of things, just because, and if you don't know Octavia Rahim, please make it your business. Like, she is awesome sauce. Anyway, rest. And when you hear that word, you're like, yeah, I know rest. I know what that means. I know what that is. I know how to do that, right? You think you know how to do it, or at least I thought I knew how to do it. But Octavia really kind of turned it around and kind of gave it more definition. Because what I was thinking that I was doing for rest, I really wasn't. I really was just kind of taking a nap, is a better way to put it. I was taking a nap, when I was supposed to be resting, right? And when I say taking a nap, I mean like one of those cat naps where you wake up and you're still like totally exhausted. Well, that's what I feel like I've been doing in my life. And so, um, you know, recognizing that I needed to, kind of slow down a bit, and, for lack of a better term, slow down and actually smell the roses, right? And really kind of dig into, well, why am I getting a headache right now? Why is my, knee hurting right now? What did I do prior to, that ache coming on? Why, I don't know, why am I feeling like I'm thirsty and I just drank, a whole, cup of water, glass of water? So these kind of questions kept coming up, and the emotional pieces kept coming up. And like I said, after or during the piece with Octavia, I, got a chance to kind of really kind of pull back. The Saturday following that, because that happened on a Friday, that Saturday following, I gave myself permission to just self care, apply just self-care. I love to journal, so I journaled. I did some guided meditation. I listened to the playlist that um, Octavia provided to us, and I found some mantras that fit was fitting into what I was going through and feeling at the moment. And I cooked a really delicious, healthy meal. All of these things feed me. All of these things brings me joy. I gave myself a facial. I did it was a whole production. I went on YouTube and looked at a couple of videos, and which is also a thing for me. I mean, I enjoy looking at the videos on YouTube, right? And so I employed some things, self-care things that helped me kind of rest and really kind of take stock of where I was, mentally, physically, all the things. And one of the mantras that Octavia provided to us that I carried over into my next day, Saturday, kind of self care Saturday, was I am. As I am worthy. As I am enough. And she kept repeating it and having us repeat it, and kept kind of landing on, this is feeling so much better. I'm feeling so much lighter. I'm loving on myself, right? I'm giving myself grace, and I'm allowing anything that needs to come out, if it's tears, if it's anger, if I want to scream. I did all of that, right? And I allowed myself to do it without apologizing for it, without any hesitation. Oh, I shouldn't do that because my neighbors might hear me. I don't care. I should, because I live in New York, so everybody can hear you. So I just kind of, took stock of those things. Like I said, I did, long, spans of writing in my journal. And I think towards the evening, I, called my mom, and telling her about it. And, again, just kind of going into things that would, kind of give me the hug that, I needed at the moment. And that was, kind of, again, the self-care, reaching out to friends and family for that community care and support. And, the next day, that next Sunday, I was just, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I had, actually, I was filming the piece that I did, the episode that I did with LaShawn Thomas that next Sunday. And also, we had a group meeting following our talk for my YouTube channel. And again, it was just, kind of inviting in the community for support, and also just giving myself grace. Giving myself grace. I think that's the theme of this piece, is giving myself grace. And to go back to the results of the 21-day Whole Foods challenge. From that, I would, because I didn't go into doing this to lose weight. That was not my goal. Yes, happy to have had it, but that wasn't my goal. But I lost 7.5 pounds in 21 days. And I wasn't doing any like extra movement. I was putting in conscious effort to get out and walk at least 3 blocks, right? New York blocks, at least. It was usually more than that, but I told myself, when I put on my coat and, put on my sneakers, it was at least do 3 blocks, right? It was usually more than that. So I was putting in that type of movement. I was eating a plant-based diet. for the most part every day. And I'll again, kind of link in some of the recipes and things that I did and pictures and things like that. But yeah, it was great, and also having the support of my friends doing it with two of my friends, it was also a game changer too, because sometimes you don't realize having accountability partners along the way for even the smallest thing as cheering you on to eat this versus that will give you the energy and the wherewithal to keep going, to reach that goal, right? And my goal was just to kind of get a handle on my health, and just I want to be well. In short, that's the main goal. Was I just want to not have to be on, medication for the rest of my life or the remainder of my life. And I know that that's possible. I know that that's possible. But I have to take stock of it. I have to be the advocate for myself. When I go to the doctor, I go with, hey, I take my blood pressure every day, and this is where it was this morning before I got here, and here is where it is now. What are you saying is the issue here? This is what I think it is. And so on and so forth. And knowing that, my stress, what my stresses are, and when my stresses are high, or more apparent, to how do I deal with that, versus when they're lower, right? So it was, educational. It was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that I was able to do it with, people who were kind of in the same lane, right now. And, we're all kind of, doing our thing, adulting, because that happens. That doesn't stop just because you're, I don't know, dieting or writing a book or whatever, adulting happens because you got to keep the lights on. So, in the middle of all that, filming for my YouTube channel, working, just going to therapy, and that's a whole nother episode. All of that, you mix all of that in the soup pot, and yeah, there are stressors, and there are things that will, kind of have you like, oh my God, I got to take a day and just kind of, work it out. But when you carve in some legitimate and intentional rest, as Octavia Rahim, kind of taught me, is it's possible. I can get there, and continue to, employ and keep my sister friend community coming. And, I don't want to like leave out the guys too, because they are helpful. But yeah, just keep my community surrounding me, and doing the things that help me stay in the sweet spot, you know. Um, See how I full circle that? But anyway, but yeah, just kind of help you stay, well and healthy. So because, the first 21 day was so successful, I've decided to do another one. So I'm starting another one tomorrow, which will be December 1st. And I'm not sure when this will air, but anyway, it will be December 1st, with my sister. So it will be just two of us, but it's my sister, so good times. And we're going to continue with the plant base. Um, for her, she may incorporate, a little meat in hers, like, chicken and fish. She may do that. And I say that only because, she is a daughter, my niece, or whatever. So, it's just kind of, being in line with that. And it's a little bit harder to do it when, everybody in the family isn't, in the house or whatever, isn't doing it. If you're cooking, she's not the type to cook like 5 meals for everybody. So anyway, So there's that. But we're going to start tomorrow, and I'm really excited. I've already, like when I was home, I was already cooking or making some plant-based dishes that she actually liked. So, and she's actually shared some recipes that she was like, hey, let's, try this or whatever. So I'm excited. I'm excited about what will come out of that. We're both, kind of in this kind of way of trying to figure out, what's going on with us, from a health standpoint, a wellness standpoint, and incorporating, more movement and, just trying to get better in all the things, but, really at the top of the list is the health. You got to do it. You got to do it. So yeah, I'm excited. So we're going to be doing that, and I'll keep you posted on how that's going. It should be exciting. And yeah, that's it. So stay tuned for how that's going to work out. At any rate, I will, as I said, provide some kind of entries into what we're eating and that kind of thing. And so I'm looking forward to it. So I'll see you next time. Thank you. And hey, remember to get into. Bye.